Welcome to the pod. You are listening to What the Reality with me, Cassie Roberts, and we are back with another Toxic Tuesday episode. I am back after nice long vacation, and we have all of the reality. We're talking about Rihanna and her whole home invasion or home shooting. Also have to send my condolences to Robert Jr. as that news broke while I was out. And we are talking about the Atlanta trailer and so much more. Of course, we're diving into Summer House, that Southern hospitality, and Love is Blind. Welcome to the pod. You're listening to What the Reality with me, Cassie Roberts, and we are back with another Toxic Tuesday episode. What is going on, you guys? It has been a week, a much-deserved week. If you guys are watching me on YouTube, you can see it on my face. It has been a much-deserved break off. I have no makeup on. This is the nice glow within. I've had like 2 facials, a nice face mask. Like, my skin is literally glowing. This is what they say pregnancy glow is. I am not pregnant, thank the Lord, but I'm just saying this is what the glow would be giving. I was in Florida, Florida, and I didn't wear a lick of makeup. And I packed makeup. Actually, this is the perfect time of the year if you're in Florida to be wearing makeup because it is always so hot there. And it's like, if you do wear makeup there, you better have a good setting spray. If you're wearing wigs down there, you better have a good melting spray. Like, that stuff is melting off. That's why I'm always saying, like, I consider moving to Dallas in general because my sister's going to be down there probably very soon. But I've considered that area. But I'm like, as a makeup girl, it is a little too hot. I don't see how the makeup girlies do it in I am weak at my friend. Oh my gosh, my friend is so hilarious. Updates, you guys. But yeah, if you was in Dallas, Florida, Vegas, you guys have superpowers that I will never understand. As a true makeup girly, even though simplicity, I'm a very simple makeup girly. Like, I know how to elevate the basics. We don't have to do a bunch of crazy stuff. When it comes to eyeshadow and stuff, I've like passed that phase. That was so college for me. The girls that be doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like, in this heat, you will always be better than me. And you know what? You guys should definitely know that. Florida was amazing. Family trip. I'll be going back down to Florida in May. May be a very busy month. You may be seeing a different background soon if you're on YouTube. I'm not going to announce anything yet until things are set in stone. But yeah, things may be different very soon. How are you guys doing? The week, we have missed a lot of headlines. First of all, before I even get into some reality topics, I have to send my condolences to Mary Cosby's family. Unfortunately, when I logged off, literally a day later, the news came in about Robert Sr. passing away. It was apparent drug overdose. And yeah, my condolences. I'm pretty sure today, when I'm recording, I record on Mondays, that the funeral was actually today, a week later. And we do know that Mary Cosby is continuing filming for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And we do know that the Bravo universe has been loving on her. I don't know if she didn't straight go into filming again for the reality show, but she did sign on. And you know, there's been a lot of like mixed feedback on social media about like, how are you going back? Have you just lost your son? And I don't know. I just feel like people deal with grief differently. I know, at least for my father, when he lost his dad, like he went back to work like the next day, and his dad, my granddad and my dad were like super close. Like, it just really depends how you manage grief. Some people would rather be around people, you know, versus being alone. And, you know, Mary Cosby, she already lives in that home very much alone because Robert Sr., or I said Robert Sr., I meant Robert Jr., you guys, has passed away, not Robert Sr. Robert Sr. lives in like Vegas most of his time. So he doesn't really necessarily, what is this? He doesn't necessarily, okay. Okay. I'm just like, I just got a text message. When I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, he lives in Vegas most of the time. So I'm assuming he's back home now following the loss, but I just know they live, it seems to be very separate lifestyles. So super sad for Mary, and it's just a devastation, something you definitely don't expect. Some other headlines before we get into the most recent headlines. The Real Housewives of Atlanta trailer dropped, and it was amazing. There's also been a lot of feedback on social media about it giving Love and Hip Hop. I personally did not think it was giving Love and Hip Hop, and I think the only reason people are saying that is because K. Michelle is on there. What we do know is that Pinky, if we want to talk about recent headlines, she has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which honestly is just like the restructuring of your business. You know, she does own Slutty Vegan, and basically Chapter 11 means that you need assistance from the government to basically pay these bills. And I don't think a lot of people realize, because like when we talk about, you know, a lot of this bankruptcies, like, you know, Saks Fifth Global filed bankruptcy. But then on a Black owned business scale, we know that Pat McGrath did, but she got that sorted out with the banks. Someone else did, and it was just like, I feel like another beauty brand did, I can't remember. But when you're filing Chapter 11, it's more so you want your business to continue thriving and you want to keep it open, but you need assistance paying. Like, the bills are too big now. And I don't think a lot of people realize, and I only know this because I did a deep dive for my newsletter. And like now I kind of really fully understand Chapter 11. You see bankruptcy, you're like, oh my gosh, scary. But Chapter 11 bankruptcy, you're really like, you're like literally asking the government and the banks for help. It's like you want to maintain this business and something, you don't want it to close down. You're seeking assistance. And it's never a bad thing to seek assistance. I think bankruptcy, at least Chapter 11, has like a negative connotation because when you really look it up, it's just like you're seeking a help with restructuring the business. Like, and I don't think a lot of people realize once COVID hit, a lot of stuff was different. Like before COVID, things were cheaper. Like, let's just talk about it. A lot of stuff was cheaper and manageable. And then COVID happened. It was still getting cheaper. And then we're kind of at that, we're past the 5-year mark. It's crazy to believe COVID was 6 years ago now, right? You're in this 6-year mark in the economy. The prices, they're insane. We have a current war going on. Like the prices though are just like insane. And a lot of businesses, small-owned businesses, or even businesses that were thriving during those times, they're not, people are cutting back. The economy's different. So, and the banks are different. They're a little more stingy too. There's just a lot. And so we do know she has filed for Chapter 11. She's actually been poking fun at herself, trying to educate the masses on like, you know, this is what people think when you file bankruptcy, like you're homeless and all this stuff. And it's like, it's not that, or like you're broke. It's just like you want to maintain this business and the way it is going would not be well. And then Victoria Beckham, who is like mega rich, filed for bankruptcy for Beckham, her fashion brand. Like, it's just like you, the president filed for bankruptcy how many times and he's still rich? I'm just saying, I hope her business sustains because from what I understand, I'm not a vegan, but people will travel to Atlanta to try Slutty Vegan. People speak highly. Now, in terms of the other stuff regarding Pinky, the new cast member on the Atlanta feature on the Atlanta trailer, apparently she is very difficult to work with, and there's a lot of complaints from former employees working with her, and there are some other rumors about her taking people's tips in their paychecks. Allegedly. That's that. What I wanted to say. But the Atlanta trailer honestly was amazing. Someone that couldn't help but to speak on the trailer, Kenya Moore. And the thing is with Kenya Moore is like, girl, you are not on the show. She's always going on Instagram Live and yapping her big mouth. She has now definitely implied that she'll be on the next season of Traitors. She's like, I'm going to be a faithful to the Bravo universe. I would never be a traitor like Brady. Like, it was basically like, okay, so you're gonna be on the next season of Traitors. And the thing is, like, Traitors just ended. I just think it's a little early to be announcing that. And I'm just also like, a lot of these housewives don't have discretion. I'm talking about her, and I'm talking about Candiace Dillard-Basset. Candiace Dillard-Basset has been running her mouth ever since she lost Traitors, and it's honestly really disappointed me. I'm going to post a TikTok about it. Like, out of all people that I thought would have took that game on the chin, you know, head above the collarbone, I never would have thought Candiace would have been so bitter and so, like, just nasty about losing. Like, it's just, like, it's really, like, giving me the ick. I'm like, Candiace, girl, you really are affected that you were outsmarted by the white man. Call it what it is. I like Rob. I've never disliked Rob. There's a strong amount of audience that doesn't like him from Love Island. I never really like disliked him strongly from Love Island. I think he was a really good traitor. But then Kenya went on Instagram Live and basically was talking about the Atlanta trailer. She thought it was cute. She's still in talks with Bravo. She talked about the Brett Eady stuff again. And I'm just like, girl, don't you need to worry about paying your salon rent fees? Because apparently she has a ton of rent fees and overdue because she hasn't been paying. So I don't think that was discussed on her live. Or if it was, like, she was like, we're good over here. Like, she always is. But I've been here. She was definitely relying on Atlanta housewife income to upkeep that salon. And, you know, she gets paid a lot for housewives. So I understand. It's like, oh, I definitely can afford it, especially on Atlanta housewives income. She wasn't expected to be fired. She was supposed to be brought back for season 17. Obviously, the Brett Eady lawsuit has made things so sticky. I don't know when she would come back. I think Nene Leakes would come back to Atlanta, given that she's on Ultimate Girls Trip before Kenya Moore would ever come back. And that's just the real tea of it. So I don't know if she's going to be able to stay in that salon at all, which is honestly insane. What else is going on? Yeah, Kenya Moore, she's like honestly pissing me off, if I'm being honest. RHONY. So there was a cast announcement. I have to get these names up. There was a cast announcement. We're just going to go through everything we missed. And then today I want to talk about Love is Blind. I want to talk a little bit about Married to Medicine, Summer House, and Southern Hospitality. So we do have a very packed show. And then we're going to get into some breaking news, some very recent breaking news. But I do want to get the full tea on RHONY, because Carol Radziwill is back. Speaking of Carol Radziwill, I am watching the Robert Kennedy Jr. and Carol Bassett Kennedy love story on Hulu, which is really good. I will say, though, his ex or whatever on there, Daryl, is a terrible actor. I don't know who that girl is. She was a terrible actor. Like, I cringed whenever she said her lines. So that just made me think of the RHONY cast announcement. So they are filming currently, and they got Carolyn Radziwill to be on there as a friend of. Obviously, we know Jessel's returning, Aaron's returning, and Sai is returning. So they have let go of everyone else. People are upset. Raquel's not coming back. I'm not. I'm so happy Brenton's not back. I'm happy Jenna's not back, Jenna Lyon, because she just really couldn't do it. She really was above the show. But then we got 3 new people coming in. And it is kind of crazy. It's like they're rebooting the reboot. So we'll see how this goes. So we have Haley Glassman, which I'm hearing some mixed reviews on, Erica Hammond, and Daisy Toy. I don't know any of those girls, in the words of Kenya Moore. Who is this hoe? I don't know. I really don't know who those hoes are. But I'm going to give it a chance. You know what I've been giving a chance recently is a lot of new shows, because I watched Love is Blind, which we're going to talk about. I wasn't going to watch it because it's Ohio, where I'm based. And I was like, what is this giving? I have given VPR a chance, and I'm not upset at it. You're hearing it first. I am giving BPR a chance. I'm on episode 7, and it is really, I wouldn't say it's really good. I would just say it's keeping me entertained. It kept me entertained today. I did watch America's Next. I've done a lot, you guys. It was a nice week off. I did watch the America's Next Top Model documentary. I'm gonna be bringing part 2 to you this week. I just gotta figure out when I'm recording that because I'm not recording it today. Probably record it Wednesday because I'm ready for these braids to come down. Yeah. So rebooting the Roni reboot is just beyond me. Hopefully this time it goes well. I mean, hopefully they got it right. I just think the first time around it was not the greatest. It turned very dark very fast. And like I said, you got people on there not trying to show their relationships. It wasn't giving. Andy Cohen has actually spoken out, though, about Real Housewives of Miami. He said they're on a casting break. So from what I understand, or not even a casting break, a filming break. They would normally be filming now. You know, Miami typically films during the summer or like springtime into the summer. They currently are on a filming break because he said, if anything, it proves like just like waiting how long with Roni, how long they waited for New Jersey. Rhode Island's coming out soon. Atlanta's coming out soon. Atlanta's coming out April 5th, very soon. And I think Rhode Island's coming out like a week after, and it's going to be on Sundays. It's going to be on Sundays. Crazy. Not a Black franchise, but Andy just said he's not in a rush to bring Miami back. And I think they really got stuff to figure out. And I brought this up when I was talking about Miami the previous season because Todd had filed a lawsuit with production and stuff. So they're trying to figure out what they're about to do with Alexia. Even though she did film Ultimate Girls Trip, we know who was not filming for Ultimate Girls Trip, Julia and Gertie. They're trying to figure out their cast. I'm also hearing Julia and Gertie on the chopping block, along with someone else that they wouldn't release a name. They said it'd be shocking. I wouldn't be shocked if Adriana is, because I don't think Andy likes her. And her role this season was very minuscule compared to previous seasons. I just feel like she wasn't, even though she was in the mess, she wasn't really in it. So I don't know who they're thinking about cutting. In my humble opinion, I would get rid of Marisol because she is a huge leak. I would get rid of Julia. And I don't know. The thing is with Gertie is like, I like Gertie, but she just has a hard time listening. And therefore, it's hard for her to make alliances on the show. I just feel like she has a hard time listening. Like, I understand. I completely agree. Julia did her so wrong this season, but her reunion performance was really bad because, like, she wouldn't just say it, or a lot of the stuff she was saying, it just didn't make sense. And I'm like, you would benefit from just listening. And she doesn't know how to answer things directly. So honestly, and I felt that way about Gertie for a while. I was just kind of like, even the season before, and I felt bad because, you know, obviously her cancer diagnosis, but like I could just tell Gertie, like, she over talks people a lot, and it's like you can't get a word in with her. And I'm just like, I think Dr. Nicole was necessary for Gertie to sustain her position on that show, because I don't know, I think Dr. Nicole could walk her off the ledge a lot of times. But now I'm kind of seeing like Gertie obviously on this island. I don't want her to be on an island alone because she's not really getting along with anyone at the moment. Everyone was at the Ultimate Girls Trip besides Gertie and Julia. So I think that's pretty telling. What else? There was a Dr. Wendy and Eddie Osefo update. Let me get into the most breaking news. I should have led with, but I wanted to send my condolences to, obviously, Mary Cosby. But Rihanna's house, 10 gunshots just ran through. I don't even know how to phrase that. Rihanna's house, shots were fired at her home in Los Angeles, and a suspect has been arrested and she's currently in custody. There's so much stuff going on. Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is coming out too. I'm just logging on to Twitter right now. So this woman was accused of shooting Rihanna's home. She's been identified as a 35-year-old. Her name is Ivana Lisette Ortez. And apparently she has been posting about this on her Facebook, not about the shooting, but this is seeming pretty planned. Her disdain for Rihanna has become very apparent on social media. And she is also a convicted felon. If you're watching me on YouTube, she has 3 mugshots. Um, I don't know if one of the, like, she has 3 mugshots, so she's a convicted felon, and from my understanding, she did use an assault rifle. Um, but I guess just in February, a week ago, she was adding Rihanna on Facebook saying, "Are you there? Because I was waiting for your AIDS 5 head self to say something to me directly instead of sneaking around like you're talking to me where I'm not at." These parasocial relationships on the internet is honestly insane. She doesn't even know this woman. She is relating to things about her issues with Chris Brown when they went through that whole thing, and Chris Brown and her, like, the rumors and stuff about them both being, you know, not well. But she is clearly a Chris Brown stan. This is where this comment is coming from. And she had been posting videos of Rihanna for a while. She made a video a month ago expressing her dislike for Rihanna. This girl looks literally unwell, you guys. I think the bleach got to her head. Rihanna was home when those shots were fired. Thank the Lord she's okay. It did not make it in her home. I think it was at her gate. But it said it was about 10 gunshots. We don't know if her kids or ASAP was home, though. But this is a pretty serious, big deal. The woman is in custody and being held on bond for at least $10 million. So unless she can get $5 million, she won't be getting out. Or what is it, a quarter of that? It would be like $2 million or something. I don't think she's getting out anytime soon. Insane parasocial relationships. Let's talk about Des Moines, because when I think about parasocial relationships, I think about Des Moines, which is obviously this gossip blog forum. Not really. This, it's like almost like punctuated like page 6. She gets hits or whatever. She became very popular during COVID, and a lot of people send tips into Des Moines. So she was reporting on some stuff over the weekend about Summer House, and this stuff really seemed to come out of nowhere. So first there was a tip that Amanda Batula and Wes Wilson had hooked up, and it was pretty known in the group. I really don't see Amanda doing that to Ciara. Maybe their relationship is very fake then if she does do that. I do not see that happening. And yeah, that's the only defense I have for that. Then there was another tip that was leaked or that was sent in, and it was that Kyle was seen holding hands with Ava Dash at dinner. So I was like, what is going on in Summer House in New York? And I'm like, Ava Dash, I always knew you were thirsty. Anyway, Ava Dash herself has cleared this up. She said it was a table full of men and we were all holding hands. It was like during, like, and so she showed the full picture. It was like they were all holding hands. I'm assuming during Grace or something. They were all holding hands, but she was there with a couple of the Summer House guys. Anyway, the comments were still flirty. I think Kyle was flirting with her in the comments, but everybody was holding hands. So Des Moines, I don't know, she's kind of lost her touch because the tips ain't tipping. They aren't real. They are not factual. It's not showing the whole truth. So definitely, my friend was sending these to me, and I was just like, I don't know if I trust this person, because I'm just like, it's giving not legit. Like, it's just not giving factual. I'm like, where are you gonna? I just cannot believe Amanda and Wes Wilson would hook up. I just do not think they would do that to Ciara, and if they do, yikes. Like, genuinely big yikes. Let's get into my final reality topic. Let's get into my final reality topic. We're talking about Dr. Wendy and Eddie. So they did have a court appearance last week sometime, and it seems as though Eddie is requesting a speedy trial, and I don't think Wendy is either. And it seems as though they're not being tried together anymore. It is being set up for Eddie to take the fall. What I do know is, like, I'll say my quick thoughts, I guess, right now for the reunion. Obviously, Karen came on. Karen came in really hot. She told Wendy, you need to really shut the F up, respectfully, as your mom told you. And Karen did not look well. Not well be to me. But I do think Wendy was talking a lot. But I will say people are saying that everything that Wendy said is everything that's revealed in the court documents. And Wendy honestly said she answered for a couple of things. She explained the scenario. With her kids actually finding the mess in the room. I still think the burglary sounds staged AF, but she did explain that, and I've never heard the details that it was actually her daughter, Cameron, that was like, oh, Zoe made a mess. Like, mom, dad, look. And it was her. I don't know. Something about you having an ongoing. Okay. I was having technical difficulties. The thing is with like the whole Wendy telling it all at the reunion, like mentioning her daughter, finding it. I don't know. I just think it's something weird about like you have an ongoing legal case and you're roping your kids in, honestly, for sympathy. But she said I was already in court documents, and like obviously that's my fault if I didn't read it through, because a lot of times we do get stuck at the headline. Another revelation that I did not know at the reunion, she talks about why they have 67 aliases. And the thing is like, I just know for a fact you think you are Beyonce or Nicki Minaj or Rihanna, because why do you, Wendy Osefo, need aliases for packages, for package deliverers? Like, I don't know. I just think it's giving a lot. But it's like, you're not Kim Kardashian. I mean, unless Potomac's really small and people manipulating your stuff like that, like, it's not giving Kim Kardashian. So I don't know why you would even need an alias. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand why you would need an alias. Like, I understand having one or two, but I don't know, 67 different, like, well, that was in terms of the credit cards. The credit cards and stuff, that was one thing. But she was talking about in terms of like the aliases because of packages. And then the 67 credit debit cards, I don't think she really addressed. But the aliases things for me, like, rub me the wrong way. I'm like, how many aliases do you have? I know we only know of like the Eddie Hennessy and the Pam Oliver, but I don't know. It's just giving like, why do you have an alias? But hey, like, maybe I guess it does make sense if those were the only ones. I don't know. The way she was crying, I just made me think it was something very serious. And she might have a long road ahead of her. I think their next court appearance is in April, but he is hoping for a speedy trial. They're saying he's definitely going to probably take the fall. There's just a lot of damning evidence against Eddie, I will say, the whole email chain. But I will say Wendy did set it up very nice on the show. Like, she had no clue about the bills, you know? There are segments, they even played a segment of Giselle saying, like, you should know that. Because it is like, you can't really trust your partner for everything. You got to know what you're doing, right? And I think we learned that with Teresa Giudice. So it's like, I don't know. I do think, though, either way, Wendy did a good job at like not feeding into this narratives, you know? And she's like, I can't answer for that. Like, they think I'm broke. That's subjective. You know, people think I'm living for a certain lifestyle. That's subjective. I personally do think that, but I just wasn't a fan of the whole Karen coming in hot. Karen still has a lot of work to do, a lot of humility, and a lot of grace to extend. I'm shocked she didn't extend more grace. And I don't understand why she's so upset with Wendy when Wendy should be upset with her. Truly. Seriously. Other than that, I think that's like everything. I can't believe I had everything. Oh, another revelation. Monique Samuels has cleared Stacey's name. She was supposed to be going on Instagram Live, and she was supposed to be saying, like, you know, she was supposed to be saying like Stacey wasn't. The whole phone call thing was weird. So the phone call was of her kid asking who's Stacey. It was very random. And then apparently she said Stacey has nothing to do with that situation. She was supposed to be clearing up on Instagram Live last week. Still hasn't happened. Perhaps that's why I forgot, because I'm like, I was still waiting for her Instagram Live to like clear up Stacey's name. But I mean, she did clear up Stacey's name. And that's what makes Monique honestly a real one. She's like, you know what? I'm about to clear this girl's name. And also, like, it just fell flat. Like, none of the viewers could understand what was saying. It all had to be bleeped out. So it was just kind of like unfair. But those were the reality topics. We had a week long of events. Honestly, it felt like 2 weeks, for real, because the last time I recorded was 2 weeks ago. And so it's been like a 2 weeks long montage of, you know, reality topics. Let's get into some reality TV. I watched the Southern Hospitality season premiere. It was amazing. 10 out of 10. Like, are you serious? Mikkel, he is definitely letting the fame get to his head. He was a fan favorite last season. His story was very touching about, like, not coming out to his mom still. I wonder how his mom's relationship is. And he's hot. He's hot and he's in the South, but now he is now on this Bravo show. He is a very attractive man and he has been getting a lot of boy attention. So his beef right now is with Molly. Molly actually no longer works there, which is honestly in hindsight good because she apparently is like a very good wedding planner or event planner now. So it's kind of good that they let her go. Molly's issue with him is that she was let go and he like basically abused his power, but he's like, I don't have the right to be hiring or firing people. It was definitely, I didn't know about it until the day of when Leva told me she was going to fire you. Leva still lets her come in. Like, there's no bad blood. She's just like, I think you're better suited what you're doing now. Like, she said, even just with her side hustle was just getting too much. Like, she was switching shifts often. She was like calling out. Like, it just wasn't going to work out. But Molly is directing her anger to Mikkel's. So, therefore, now her and Lake are on the outs as well. I don't really know how I feel about Lake. I think Lake is very immature and you can tell. Because she was not yelling at her. I mean, was she getting sassy with her? Yes. Mikkel's come out there to defend his good sis Lake, and it basically goes from 0 to 100. He went from professional to not professional. He really cussed Molly out and told her, you can leave or I'm gonna call the cops, which is insane. Honestly, I was at work watching it right during my break, and I remember I had looked down to eat my salad or something. Like, the scene was fine, and by the time I had my salad in my mouth, it was a whole thing. It's like, did I fast forward? Like, it was such a calm scene. It really went from 0 to 100. And I was just blown away that he was like, I'm going to call the police on you. I was just like, not call the cops on Molly. Like, that was insane. He literally exploded. And then I related to Leva because when something like this happens, I'm just like, do you need a hug? He's like literally starts crying to Leva after he was pissed off. He starts crying to Leva profusely. And she's like, do you need a hug? Like, you got to stay professional, dude. You are a manager here. And she said, I'm sorry, we are not in the business of banning. Like, you cannot ban anyone. The way Mikkel started crying, I was just like, dude, it's giving mentally unstable. Like, dude, are you okay? He said, I do not deserve to feel uncomfortable in my place of work. Like, he brought out everything. He brought the tears out. He was like, honestly, on one. Obviously, him and Molly are cool now at the state of the end of the relation or the end of the episode. Molly did confess to talking crap about him. And that's what makes Molly a real one. I do like Molly. She's like, I'm not going to lie. I did talk crap about you. You can tell Mikkel's was not expecting that because he was just like, oh, okay. Like, thank you so much for telling me. I don't think he was expecting her to confess to that so quickly. And he was just like, I guess I don't have a leg to stand on. Like, because it's like, what do you want? I just admitted to that. And then she's like, but you need to admit that you were cheating on your man. And he basically admits that he didn't cheat. He said they were on a break and they both were seeing other people. So I'm just like, what was the issue? I like that, though. I like when we could start the episode at each other's heads and then, like, we're going to squash it by the end. Like, it was fine, right? What else is going on in Charleston at Southern Hospitality? So we have Maddie. We're still talking about this rumor from the reunion. I'm not mad at it. I do think it is very weird how this whole group of people got together to basically make up a rumor on this guy that Maddie was seeing. And TJ and Brad did it mostly because they were upset that she had made up a rumor about him getting head in a dumpster, which is just honestly unsanitary and foul. And obviously he was in a relationship at the time when he was doing that. I believe that happened. I don't think Maddie was making that up unless she was on something, but she's been sober, so I don't even think she would. Like, I could see her. Maddie doesn't seem like a liar to me. Well, maybe she is, because didn't her and Trevor lie about the whole setup? They are awesome liars. You know what? She could have lied about that because she was upset with him because of... Actually, she could have lied. I don't know. I just came to the realization because her and Trevor had lied about something about her being in a room when the girl was admitting to like cheating with him, and then she was like, I was actually on that phone call. It was weird. Like, it was just like, y'all are some liars. Anyway, Maddie is still upset that they've formed this group chat and they basically tried to conspire against her relationship, and it succeeded with Trevor. Her and Trevor are no longer together. She is with Joe Bradley, who I personally think is not who he says he is. I just think he's very threatened by Maddie's success, but not in a, I want you to stay under me, just in a, I don't know where I'm going, and I'm very insecure about my state where I am in the world, and my girlfriend seems to have it figured out. Like, she's this amazing DJ, which is why he goes to all her shows. He's trying to figure out his place in the world because he thought it was going to be Republic and, just working the way up. Oh, he's going to be like the Peter of Republic, right? I think he was going to be fine with that, but now he sees his girlfriend's doing like these amazing things. He's kind of like, dang, I need to kind of figure out how to boss up, essentially. So I just think it's weird that she has all this smoke for TJ and Brad, and then none for her man that was also in on that group chat, and then Emmy, who also told you right before the reunion, which was very calculating, because the biggest revelation from the episode is that she did make up that Will had some mental health issues, which you shouldn't really play around, but she just didn't want to be in the hot seat. And, Emmy is now engaged. But the thing is like, y'all all are liars. Like, I just feel like everyone is a liar. Even my good sis Mia, they're all just lying. And I wouldn't even say for the show. I think they just be lying out of spite. They just be lying just so they could lie. And it's really unfortunate because I don't really know who to trust on the show. I think the person I would trust is probably Grace Lidley, but half the time I don't know what she's saying. So it's kind of like, I don't know who isn't a liar on the show. They all literally are lying just so they can get under each other's skins. And it's so annoying. But I do like the show. I mean, that's how VPR was. It was just a bunch of liars. You put a bunch of liars and you put them all to work in the same place, and this is what you get. Like, just people lying, constantly trying to keep up with their lives. It's like, none of y'all are actually, like, I can't trust any of you. So I don't even know. Did Will cheat on Emmy that last time? Or was that made up as well? But it's also like, he admitted to being in the bathroom with that girl. I don't know. I just don't even understand why you're closing the door with a girl that's grieving her man. Like, it's just giving... It's given it shouldn't have even happened. But it's just so hard for me with the show because you guys are all proving to be literal liars. However, I do like the show. Emmy is engaged, and that's going to be her personality and that running mascara. She is going to be crying this season. I'm looking forward to it. TJ had his wiener event. Well, first of all, there was a guys' night, and I do like how the men are very expressive, especially being in Charleston, about their families questioning their sexuality. Given that, I don't see how Maddie's dating Joe Bradley. The whole TJ thing is a little funny for me. Was there a cuddle? Was there a morning wood? Was there something between those two men? That would be enough for me as a woman to be like, this ain't it. And that's why I think Maddie's also so upset. I don't think she necessarily wants Trevor back, but I think she's kind of like, dang, I just let this man like play me into a relationship, manipulate me. I think Maddie needs to be single, but I also think there's a part of her that probably misses Trevor. I think she might miss Trevor, and she's upset that she broke up with him over this fake cheating rumor. I would be upset too, no lie, even if we were toxic. I'm gonna be like, dang, so you didn't even cheat on me that last time? I'll be like, my bad. And he swore he didn't. But it's like, you all are liars. So it's like, at the end of the day, and now you're with this guy that almost hooked up with his friend, or like there was a cuddle, or it was clearly something, or maybe TJ's just confused. Maybe he just falls for his friends. You know what I mean? It can be given that as well. I don't know. Joe Bradley can be completely straight, but then he brought up like his dad thinking he was gay. And I was just like, I don't know. The boys' night was very wholesome. Let's just say that. And then we have Brad. I actually live for him. That he's a messy man though. But he was like, what is the issue with you and Maddie? Like, what is the issue? The way he just asked him straight, like you weren't a part of the lie yourself, was insane to me. But then let's get to TJ's wieners, which apparently are doing really well. And Maddie came in there on one because she had gotten feedback from Guys Night, from Joe Bradley, that they basically were like, well, why is she so upset that we hashed it or whatever? She feels like she is not cool with TJ and Brad. Brad feels like, hey, I apologized to her. We went out after a reunion. Everything's fine. They're clearly not in the same page nor book. They're both on two opposite spectrums. And Maddie came into TJ's Wiener's party on one. She knocked over Mia's printout. Mia's supposedly getting proposed to. Obviously, we know that didn't work out because I think Mia's single right now. She should be on Bravo's Love Hotel. Take Portia's place, and Mia's gorgeous. And then what else? She knocked over that, and then she started passing out his wieners, and she's just talking crap about him. She's like, if you want to feel terrible in the morning, this is it. And then also, like, all the wieners have been inspired by each and every one of them. And so he did just come out with the new one, which is the cheater wiener. He's saying it's for the cheat meals, the cheat days for dietitians, you know, but people are obviously saying it's about Will and Emmy, the cheater wiener. So, you know, Maddie was just on one. She was kind of erratic the end of the episode. Not erratic. She was just on one because she was upset that there was really no apology for her relationship with Trevor. That's what it's giving. Like, she's upset there still hasn't been any true acknowledgement that what y'all did was wrong. But the men are like, we've already acknowledged it. What more do you want us to do? Like, I apologize after reunion. But she didn't like how they were giving sass to Joe Bradley. And she just felt like that was not okay. So she was already on one. She walked in there on one. She probably should have just called off because she was in no position to be serving any wieners. It was very unprofessional, but I lived for it. And then it ended up in a screaming match with Brad's new girlfriend, who was like a huge volleyball player. She's like so tall compared to Maddie. They're going back and forth. Emmy's just standing there. The Emmy not getting along with the people. And the gag is Emmy actually introduced Brad to his girlfriend now, which is insane. So yeah, it was a 10 out of 10 premiere, honestly, from Mikkel's and the whole screaming to Maddie to the boys' night. It was just like, what is going on? Like, think I'm going to rewatch it. It was a really solid premiere. I think they did a really good job. I want to talk about Summer House briefly because I did post a TikTok. Make sure you guys follow me on TikTok if you haven't. I posted a TikTok about it, and honestly, I just feel like Ciara is constantly finding herself in these positions where she is, I don't know, she's just honestly in some male stuff. And I just hate it for her because her storylines are literally only having to do with her male relationships. It's just not a good look. I really feel bad for her. I think she puts herself in a lot of these situations. You know, she just found out that Jesse did say he wanted to make out with her, but not want to take her out on a date. She felt like it's kind of sly. She's like, dang, like, you know me as a friend. Why would you only want to make out with me and not like court me or whatever? And I say this because, Ciara, you honestly, you just give mixed signals a lot, and you do be crossing the line a lot of times with your friends. I don't think you should be posing in the mirror with Jesse talking about, I'm like, it's my lip balm. I might need a new color lip balm. It's giving like it's coming off. I'm like, I don't understand why you're posing in a mirror with Jesse Solomon. Oh, this would be cute if this is our engagement photos. I don't understand why you're cuddling in your bed with Mia there in your underwear. And he's like, oh my gosh, I might be getting a hard on. Like, it's just so much, like, the boundaries are constantly crossing. It's like you always realize, you don't understand why you can't sustain relationships because the lines are always crossed. Like, if you had a boyfriend, like, the stuff you be doing is not okay. And I just feel like Ciara is a very lost person. I don't know if I don't dislike Ciara Miller. I'm actually rooting for her. But I do think a lot of her identity is in men, and she should decenter men. If it's not how badly she's treating them, like with attitude, I'm going to have attitude with you because of XYZ. Everything she does is for the men. I feel like she says she's decentered men, but she hasn't decentered men. I think a lot of her drama revolves a man. And I just think at a certain point, like, when do you outgrow it? Like, we know the audience what you want, but you don't move how you want. You are constantly letting these men kind of play in your face. And then I think for me, the biggest gag was like, why wouldn't he want to take me out on a date? And I'm like, why would you want Jesse to take you out on a date? You know that it's not someone you see settling down with. So it's like, you need to be more intentional with your actions. But that's all I really have to say about Ciara. Is like, I'm rooting for her, but at a certain point, the audience, we stop feeling bad because your boundaries, the boundaries have been crossed. The line is crossed. The line is over. And it's constantly always that. So yeah, that is my thoughts on the most recent Summer House. Married to Medicine. Married to Medicine, I just watched. We're really seeing kind of the end of Quad and King. And we learned that it seems as though King did propose. He proposed an idea. Let's go down to the courthouse and let's just get married. Seems as though he just wanted Quad. I think he would have been fine with just Quad, but I think Dr. Simone summed it up the best for Quad in her confessional. She's like, Quad is in a position right now where a lot of women end up finding themselves in. It's like, you kind of just want the baby. You don't need the man necessarily. And if that's the case, you should go do what you want. I don't think King is there with you. They're really in this stage where they're nitpicking each other. Their scenes are very uncomfortable. Even their confessionals are uncomfortable. They're just not seeing eye to eye. And it is really sad because, like, I am rooting for a long time love for Quad, but I don't even see her, like, getting married again. I think she should just date. And obviously, they initially started off, he was very smitten with her. And now you kind of just see them, like, it's like you would think they were married for, like, 20 years, right? The spark is gone, and I think a lot of the group is realizing it. And I think Quad's decision to have a kid, and she said it, she's like, I want a kid. Like, F the marriage. She doesn't want a marriage. She doesn't want to be married again. She just wants a kid. And it's like, you might just have to go to the sperm bank and do that. But her issue is she won't be able to really carry a kid because she is past that age. And she has expressed, one of her biggest regrets is that Dr. Simone and Dr. Jackie did express to her during that time, that she should freeze her eggs, and she never did, and she regrets not listening. But I do have faith that she will hopefully get pregnant. I thought she was pregnant when I saw her at BravoCon and all the videos, because it was just, it was definitely given like that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was so happy for her. But I hate that it's not. Obviously, it could be the hormones and stuff, but the angle and stuff, I definitely thought she was going to be pregnant, so I was super excited for her. Obviously, she's not. And I hope she does get her fairy tale if it's just her and her baby. We do know her and King are no longer together, and we're kind of see that play out. They just recently announced their breakup, so it would be shocking to me if they hadn't announced their breakup that they would still be together. So I'm wondering if she's going to speak more on it at the reunion, because the season finale of Married to Medicine does come out the following next week, this Sunday, which is insane to me. I didn't know we were at the end. So I'm like, Sunday is really about to be dry. Well, we're going to have their reunion, and then that'll obviously take us to the Atlanta premiere. Toya and Eugene. So Toya is planning the Med Gala with, Dr. Jackie, and she's at a place right now where she really needs the people's money, and it's become very last minute. Some people are donating, some are not, and then the issue is like some of the girls have not been involved, but you're asking for our money. Toya and Eugene cannot get nothing from me. I think Eugene is overextending or over leveraging his position in the group. I think that he is getting too involved with the women's business. It's too Patricia-like for me. And it's honestly annoying the F out of me. And yeah, you can just tell him and Toya have had some conversations. And she's like, you better stand up for me. You better stand up for me, or it will not be good for you. Because it has not been good to watch. Like, I'm just like, Eugene, what are you doing? Like, he's just been in the mix too much. He's trying to pull Dr. Heavenly, Dr. Damon aside, talking about he don't like the way that Heavenly's talking to his wife. But it's like, they always go back and forth. Like, stay out of it. And now you're trying to bring up the Dr. Damon stuff. And which we did see in this episode is the whole kid thing is a very sore spot for Damon, because Dr. Damon was like, Dr. Eugene was bringing up something. Dr. Damon was like, don't talk about my kid. And it was just like, I don't even think he mentioned your kid, like, honestly. But there is definitely something amiss. So we do know that Heavenly has not spoken to her kid ever since she found out he was arrested 2 years ago, and Dr. Damon did not tell her, which I think is crazy. He handled it or whatever. And she had to find out through the internet. She has not seen her son. They have not spoken. I think he has spoken to Dr. Damon. He's not spoken to Dr. Heavenly. She doesn't know where her kid is at. I'm hoping Dr. Damon knows where the kid is at, but he has talked to him. And that's a sore spot for them. They're not really talking about it. And I will say it is kind of unfair because Dr. Heavenly is always in everyone else's business. And now we're not talking about your biggest storyline. But also, granted, she is in a friend role this season. So it's like, does she have to talk about it? Does she not have to talk about it? She's talking about it as much as she can. And you can tell Dr. Damon, I hope he doesn't resent her. But apparently her overreaction to the news, or reaction in general, I don't even know if it could be an overreaction because she found out about it 2 years after it happened. So any reaction is going to be an overreaction for something that happened 2 years ago that you're just finding out about. It seems as though Dr. Damon is very upset about it. He doesn't want anyone mentioning it. And it could possibly be causing some tension and resentment in their relationship. I don't know. I just think Dr. Damon's reaction to him and Eugene talking, like, don't talk about my son. It was just kind of like, bro, I didn't even bring up your kid. I would never bring up your kid. So something there. But regardless of that, Toya and Eugene is really like Toya's number one fan for this Met Gala. I don't think it's going to turn out well. And it just goes to show that Toya, I just think the fact that you barely contributed and now you're asking people to contribute is just so contradictory. It's so hypocritical. And I just do not like Toya. And yeah, I kind of was with Heavenly. I do kind of want to see you fail with this Met Gala, because for the longest we were asking you to contribute and now you're just roping us in on the events and stuff. Oh, we need X amount of money. Like, it's honestly unfair. And it's kind of like, no. What is the saying? A hard head carries a soft A. And so, I don't know. I just feel like, no, you should probably experience what it's like to throw a Met Gala and not get all of the funds you were expecting. And maybe we should just donate some wine and some tequila and stuff. Like, what happened to your wine? Like, are you still funding the liquor for the event? I don't know. I just feel like Toya, Eugene, Toya drives me nuts, so you guys, because I'm just like, she is just like the most ungrateful person ever. But I just think it's hilarious how you want my help when we needed your help. So it's like, obviously the good Samaritan in me, I'm going to help. But it is one of those things where it's just like, I should kind of just let you suffer, right? Like, I'm only human. I understand the ladies wanting to just watch her suffer. I 110% understand why they would want to do that. Other than that, Cecil is arguing with the folks on Twitter. I'm going to get to that. At the end of the episode, what is his name? Curtis made an argument to King. A lot of the men seemed fed up with King and his chauvinistic attitude. They wanted to really get to him. They're like, when are you going to marry Quad? When is this happening? And he's like, you guys bother me more on the subject of marriage more than she does. King was actually sitting there like pouting too. Like, he did not want to be with the guys. Like, he just had an attitude. Who else had an attitude? Bernard. And I'm glad Angel kind of nipped that in the bud. Why are you coming to Jamaica? You're not on the good vibes. It seems like he's coming to like humble her. I was weak. Eugene didn't even know his name. He's like, I'm sorry, brother. Like, what's your name again? Like, he was like, who are you? He's like, I don't even know who you are. That was me too, because I'm like, you gonna come here? Angel can do a lot better. And it's like, he came and his vibes were not vibing. He was not there for Angel. He was there to really embarrass her. It's like, why are you coming? What do you think this is? So she said, yeah, we're just gonna remain friends. And I'm like, that's how you really have to do it, because honestly, it looked like he got no game either. I don't know. But Curtis had told King that the reason they're having trouble conceiving is perhaps because they are not married. And King hit back with, you can't like weaponize the Bible against me. You can't. And that's what those religion people do. That is what those strong Christ-like Christians do. They all of a sudden want to live by the Lord, and anything you do is judgment day. It's judgment day. And it's like, Curtis, you have no right to be telling someone how to live in the Bible when one of the commandments is thou shalt not cheat. And you have cheated on your spouse. So how are you to tell me that, like, I can't have a kid out of wedlock, right? When it's like you've cheated, you've literally broken a commandment. That a commandment isn't you can't have a child out of wedlock, right? So I don't know. And it's just crazy to me that Curtis is even saying that, because Dr. Jackie is Quad's doctor. And she's an OBGYN. She helps probably a ton of women get pregnant without a man, and not do the traditional route. And so it's like, it's not good for Dr. Jackie's brand if we really want to look at it. You are married to someone that believes women should only be pregnant and carrying kids if they are in a secure, not even a secure, half these marriages aren't secure. Y'all's clearly wasn't. But you're married to someone whose ideal is you're not getting pregnant because you didn't do it the Lord's way. It's honestly BS. And Dr. Jackie ended up having to send a lot of text messages to Quad, basically apologizing on her husband's behalf. But the fact that that aired, that is not going to be good for Dr. Jackie. I mean, I hear she's an amazing OBGYN. The people are going to keep seeing her because she's been through some controversy. But it's not good to be married to someone that clearly has these views on your profession, and they're voicing them on Bravo. Like, that is such an oxymoron. It's like you're married to someone that believes your job is honestly invalid. Like, half of the women she helps, majority, especially as you move up in that age demographic, and it didn't happen naturally, these women are having kids without men. I mean, they're going to sperm banks, and that is becoming the new norm. I don't think that sounds bad, especially if you can provide a certain lifestyle for your kid. You don't need to rely on a man. And it's like, this kid is yours, you know? You don't have to deal with a lot of the BS that comes with, like, the custody battles and stuff. And, like, you know, a lot of women, they'd rather just have that to themselves. Like, I understand it. I understand Lala Kent's decision more and more every day. I don't like her comparing her daughter to, like, the process, though, because she does have a daughter with her ex, Randall. I always said, like, the way she kind of compares her to, because she got two daughters, and then one of the daughters is through a sperm bank. I don't like how she kind of compares the two situations often, because I'm like, imagine your daughter growing up like, dang, because I have a daddy, you love me a little less because I'm not completely yours. I think she needs to be careful about that. But it's becoming the new norm for, like, women to do the sperm bank route, and I don't blame them. So it's, like, crazy to have a husband on Bravo that has cheated on you, who knows how long, how many times. I know it was more than once. We know it was more than once. You have this man that is expressing, oh, Quad and King are getting pregnant because they're not married. They're not doing it the Bible way. Let's move on. Love is Blind. Ohio. Vic has to be one of the most gorgeous men I have seen on Love is Blind and reality TV. That is a man. And I'm not even into dreads. I'm really not. But his were upkept, long. It was honest. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to lie. I was giving, like, Party Next Door circa 2015. But just long dreads. Oh my gosh. I used to love Party Next Door, like, when he first came out. Vic is a very fine man. So much Christine's good old mom was like, that's a hot man. That is a hot man. That is a man that was sculpted from the baby Jesus. That is a very attractive man. Period. I'm so happy for him and Christine. Let's get into the troublesome couples. So we that is a hot man. I just had to say that. We have Brittany and Devontae. Devontae looks like an inbred cousin of Jack Harlow, and he thinks he is the stuff. Brittany is not his type. However, they did not make it to the wedding. Spoiler alert. Sorry, you guys. I should have issued that earlier if you haven't watched it. The reunion comes out Wednesday. I'm not really looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to it because the reunions always fail me. Like, they never really, like, get Andy Cohen. They always spend too much time on the people from the past. Like, I don't think the reunion's going to really answer anything. And they need to make the reunions longer as well. Like, if you want to spend time on people from the past, these past couples, then extend the reunion with the real meat and sauce, the real meat and gravy, as one of the couple's moms was saying. Got Brittany and Devontae. Brittany is so desperate to get married. She doesn't care to who. And it's really disappointing because she's a gorgeous girl. She's Dominican and black. And he is mixed race, which is insane to me. He said he's never dated anyone black. But it's not, his preference. But he just said Brittany's not his typical type or whatever. I think she's a gorgeous girl. But unfortunately, gorgeous does not make up to how insecure she is inside. And she started off on a really good note. Like, her self-esteem was up there, in my opinion. Like, she addressed him. She's like, it's just not giving. Like, you're not giving me any attention. I'm the one initiating physical contact. She was not trying to have sex until they got married. Because keep in mind, it's like, Love is Blind is actually insane, right? You go on a social experiment to date these people in the pods for 2 weeks. I think it's like 2 weeks. And then you're engaged, and then you go on vacation with them for like a week, and you live with them for like 2 weeks, and then you get married to them. So you've known this person maybe 2 months, and then you're supposed to just have sex with them. You're supposed to have sex with them before the 2 months, honestly. It is insane. So I don't blame her. She wanted to wait until they got married to have sex. But she was so desperate for some sort of physical connection with this man that she bent her rules. She was like, if you need sex for us to feel a personal connection, I'm open to that. Because he wasn't giving her anything. I don't know if they ended up having sex. I can't remember. I binged this Friday and Saturday. You kind of like binge it, like in and out. I don't know if they did. I'm pretty sure they did. But it's like the fact that you were willing to break your own morals to feel something is really sad. It's really sad. It's something really broken in you. I hope at the reunion she realizes how much crap he's talked about her. He had no intention of ever marrying her, like, truly. And I feel really bad because she had her wedding dress already picked out, which honestly is a red flag. I think if any guy is like, dang, this wedding was happening regardless I'm here or not. I do agree with Devontae with that. But I hope when we see her at the reunion, she has some more self-esteem, because it was very disappointing to kind of see her like really like beg to get married. And it's like, this man has called off the wedding. He's sitting here. He is talking to you like, I'll see you later. I'll see you soon. And you're still not getting it. He is not interested in you, honey. And it was very heartbreaking because she couldn't see it. I was just like, girl, it's so prevalent. Before I move into this next couple, Vic and Christine, obviously they did get married. Very beautiful couple. Love their love story. People are complaining that we didn't see much of their stuff. I don't think they had one fight. They had the serious conversations though. You are a white woman. I'm a black man. Christine, as a white woman, is asking, what does it look like me raising your children that are going to be black? Our children that are going to be black. And I think what made me really like Christine is like, she's like, it's going to kill me that I'm going to be raising mixed race children. I'm not going to understand what they're going through. I think if anything, Vic will definitely understand because, they'll be black, but it's something about, having a mixed race kid or raising a black kid, whether you're like adopting, you're never going to fully know unless you have the black experience. The black experience is just something different, especially here in this America. And I think it was really real that she was like, I'm never gonna fully know what my kids are going through. And you could tell that just broke her heart. And you can just tell she's truly an empath, and she just genuinely wanted to know, is that a deal breaker? Like, I think they are very suited. I anticipate that they're still together come the reunion. They talk with each other with respect. He was a professor. I can't remember her profession, but I know for a fact all the girls that have had him as a professor have crushed on him majorly, because that is a fine professor. That is those like those stories you read. My hot professor, like I know those girls is mad he is off the market. But I think people were complaining that we barely saw their love story. I saw all I needed to see. We want to see drama. And I don't like how people are like, oh my gosh, like we didn't see any drama from them. They didn't have any. They had the serious conversations, what it's going to look like being an interracial couple, raising an interracial family, me being from the country, you being from New York. I mean, first of all, he's from New York, you know, from the Bronx, I think. So it's like, how are we going to intersect our lives? It's two complete opposites that fell in love in the pods. That's all I needed to see. I don't need them to force any drama. I want to see the drama, which leads me into Bree and Connor. When I found out Bree was a Leo, I was like, are you serious? It made so much sense. And it's like, I'm a Leo. She will be with someone that is more in charge. I do think he was very submissive. I have to give that to Chris, saying he's very submissive, but I think it would have worked. I don't think you need two hotheads in a relationship. I do think there has to be some push and some pull, but I do think she's going to find a relationship very fast with someone what she's looking for after the show. If not at the reunion, she'll announce it. She just gives me that. I don't think she was ready to not date her type. She wants macho man, someone that got the bills, someone that's ordering for her. Honestly, if a man ever tries to order for me, I'll be like, perhaps not. I think it's so disrespectful when a man orders for you, especially if they order a salad. Or like, I think it's so disrespectful when a woman doesn't even make eye contact with a waiter and they're expecting their man to order for them. I just think it's so disrespectful. Like when you don't even make eye contact with the waiter and you're just looking at your man to order for you. It's something that really icks me out about that, so that couldn't be me. But Bree and Connor, if I'm being honest, I thought they were going to make it to the aisle. I thought he was what she needed. I thought she was with what he needed. And I could have seen them balancing out very well. And so when she did lay it all right there to him, essentially how she's not ready to get married, how he's not getting the best version of her after he met her dad, which was, from my understanding, a pretty huge big deal. But after that had happened, and then she basically ended up roasting him, how he doesn't take initiative and all this stuff, how he doesn't grind, he don't got the hustle. I'm not gonna lie, I saw a little bit of myself in her, because I was like, I do see companionship in people that got that grit in them, that hustle, that they don't take no for an answer. So I don't know. I just feel like it was very interesting to me, that conversation. I did not see that going that way. I thought they were just having a talk and then it ended up in a breakup. But I don't know. Connor seems like a nice guy and I thought they were going to work out. I think she was tempted by Chris in his conversation until she realized Chris was just wanting an F buddy. Chris has now grown out his hair by the reunion. He got these long bangs. He is no longer Mr. Kendall. He is trying to tap into this dark romance energy. I don't know. He thinks he is that guy. And the way he told Jessica he's used to women that do Pilates is insane to me, because Jessica's not even out of shape. She's not even out of shape, but he's like, I'm used to women that normally do Pilates and like work out. And the thing is like, she's always maintained in the pods that she does not work out. So for him now to get on the show and be like, I'm used to XYZ, it's giving cop out. And if that's the case, you should have then just went with Bree. Him and Bree should have just went with each other, but I don't think they would have made it to the altar either. Then we have Amber and Jordan, who I was really happy that they said yes, but I was shocked because I do think Amber should have introduced her daughter to him a lot sooner. I understand she was trying to go through the process. She didn't want to introduce her daughter to this man. Even if they didn't make it to the altar, because then it's going to be like, but I do think he should have had more exposure to her daughter before. The blogs are saying they're not together, so we will see at the reunion. They're also saying that Amber had a drinking problem, and I'm like, I didn't see that at all. I actually really liked Amber, and I think that they seemed suited to me, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens with them at the reunion, if they're together. I don't think they're together. We have Emma and Mike. So Emma and Mike, I think, first of all, Emma's very insecure in her adoption and not knowing where she comes from. And I can understand that, especially as you get older. And then, she had this procedure to get rid of these birthmarks, and she doesn't know if she's going to pass it on to her kid, and she doesn't want to. It's a lot, but I also think she's just very insecure. And like, where does she come from? Like, what city is she from in China? Like, who her parents are, what do they look like? She was adopted at 3. And it seems as though she's lived a very good life, but I do think she's very insecure about that because she just doesn't know anything of her ancestry. And that is a lot. I will say Emma has said in the past that she wasn't sure about having children, especially because of the birthmarks and passing that down, and just like how difficult it was growing up with that and like feeling different. I don't think Mike should have proposed to her. Mike wants children, period. And it's like, why would you even propose to her if there was even an if so maybe? It's kind of like he was hoping to persuade her, and he's starting to come to the realization through this trial marriage or this trial period before they get to the altar. He's like, I don't think I can persuade her. And it's like, you shouldn't even want to persuade her. You proposed to her on this, fixed on this, knowing it was a possibility of no. So you had to be okay with that no. The fact that you would still propose, I just think you should have just cut your losses. You shouldn't have even said yes. And I think Emma had made it very clear that she still was on the fence and did not know. And even her family was like, we know you do not want to have children. So I don't know. I just feel like it's unfair that he proposed to her. And I think she should have said no. Before I get into this last couple, Kia, the woman you are, and I found out she's a Leo. I was like, period. Now that's a Leo. Kia was in it with Keenan. I think that's his name. I can't remember. And she was essentially his second choice. Let's just say it like that. Because he basically made the other girl his girlfriend. I can't remember her name, but she was wearing that Hanifa dress down. He basically was like, me and you are together. And then told Kia, basically the girl left because she was like, well, you still didn't break it off, yada yada. It was a mess. He was not ready for marriage, and Kia told him that, and she chose herself, and I love that for her. I hope she finds romance, and I'm looking forward to an update with her. But that was a really good example of, I think, how Brittany should have did it. Like, choose yourself. Jess did that for herself. Like, choose yourself, ladies. It is never that deep. Keep in mind, you just met this person 2 months ago. You will be fine without them. It'll hurt for probably 2 weeks, but then you'll get over it. You only met this person 2 months ago. Let's not get carried away. I mean, come on. Let's talk about Alex and Ashley. Alex is the biggest double dealing, lying, manipulative man ever. He is a scammer, him and his mom that showed up in a disco ball dress for the wedding. I don't even think that's his mom. He is a scammer. He has no roots. Homeboy, I understand more than anyone wanting to leave your hometown or Cleveland, Ohio, because that is where I am at. More than anything, I can understand that and be like, you know what, I'm ready to go. But the thing is like, Alex has never had a job, and you can tell he's very, like, he gives you the runaround with his jobs. It's like, are you in finance? Are you a soccer coach? You're in crypto. You're trading the Australian dollar, but you couldn't say how much it was worth when her dad asked at that moment. Like, if you trade it, wouldn't you know it off the bat? It was giving, I'm a scammer. And it was giving, I'm on the run from something. He cannot stop talking about soccer. And it's something about men, when your identity is in sports and that's all you have, and it's like a dream lost. And this happened probably 10 years ago. This man is like, I think he's like, I mean, he looks 38. I don't know how old he is. He might be 33, but he gives 40 years old, and he's still talking about something from a decade ago. So from my understanding, he got drafted for the soccer MLS. He did get drafted, and he only played like 2 months, and then he had to do 4 knee surgeries. His future didn't plan out like he thought it is, and he has no capacity to hold a conversation without mentioning soccer or wanting to leave Cleveland and move on to the next. And I can just tell he was a scammer because he said his ultimate goal was to have a house in like New Zealand and a safe house in like Dubai or something. It was just giving scammer vibes, and you're running from something. It's giving he doesn't have a job. It's giving he's running away from bills or repossession. It's giving He's about to get evicted. He's hopping around living with different girlfriends. It's giving he does not have a job. And he wanted Ashley to be on the run with him, even though she had a pretty secure job and she was waiting to see if she could get promoted and move within the company because there were bases in Florida and Arizona, the places he wanted to live. I know him and his mom are on some BS because when he called his mom wasn't even in Ohio. She was in Arizona for a new job. And it was just crazy. It was really crazy. And I feel like he always had his representative on. Everything was a sales pitch. And I'm really glad her dad clocked him. He's like, he's really good at talking and saying a lot of nothing. Like those type of people, they're just like, you actually are saying a whole bunch of nothing. It was definitely giving like Cam Newton. And I'm just like, dude, what are you talking about? It's like when a parent asks you, what do you love most about my kid? And you say, I love that they're so family oriented. You saw nothing. And nothing. So you didn't learn anything. It was just weird. It was weird. I cannot wait for the reunion for them to question him, but I feel like they really aren't going to question him. He's been getting flamed on social media. Ashley did her big one saying, I already know what your answer is at the wedding. Mine is no. He could not get his story straight with the whole girlfriend thing. It was like, did you just have a girlfriend before the show? And then we learned about Priyanka. Why did you and Priyanka go into this show not disclosing your relationship? That was weird. Maybe because Priyanka would have blown your stuff up because she's like, oh, I thought you were just in a relationship right before this. He was just staying with a girl. He made it seem like she was on assignment in Austin and he was visiting her, when in reality I think she just lived in Austin. He was couch potatoing her. Like, it's just giving he has no credit and he's a scammer and he is always on the run. It is always literally giving that. And yeah, I don't know, it was just honestly insane. Honestly insane. But thank you so much for listening to What the Reality with me, Kasha Roberts. I'm actually, make sure you guys tune into Brown Style magazine. I am one of the 100 women in media, and I'm super excited about that. I'm going to post it on my LinkedIn. And yes, for the podcast, my newsletter, and all the things I've done in the media this far. And I hope to continue doing more. This was a longer episode because we had things to catch up on and it had been so long. But definitely stay tuned for America's Next Top Model Part 2. This Friday, I will be dropping that as I just watched the documentary, and I want to film that as soon as possible while it is fresh in my mind. But until the next time, I will see you guys next Toxic Tuesday. Bye.